This is how you make a great filling chicken thing for like burritos and stuff. Like, it tastes delicious. So pepper, and then chili powder. Cumin. And lime juice. And some salt. And then cook, and it's delicious. You guys, I have a cold. And I'm not happy about it. I haven't had a cold for a while. I mean, I have a runny nose quite often, but I think that's mostly just allergies. I have a runny nose quite often when I go outside and stuff, but that's normal, and I've had that for years. But like, I haven't been sick probably since before Christmas, I think, or the very beginning of the year. It's been a while, and I have a sore throat, and I desperately want to get rid of it, and I don't know how. And so I'm drinking a lot of water. I mean, I drink a lot of water anyway, but I'm drinking even more water, and it can be frustrating because like every time I swallow, I'm like, oh, I need some more water. So I'm like drinking liters and liters, which is a bit excessive. So anyway, welcome to Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Yeah, so I showed you making the chicken for dinner. It's seriously the easiest recipe ever, and then we just had it with beans and rice, lettuce. Oh, I didn't put cheese on the table, but you can have it with cheese too, sour cream, on a tortilla and just make a burrito, and it's really fast and really easy. It seriously took like no time to make. It would have taken less time than it did as well if I had a good cutting board / knife to cut with, but I genuinely just don't, and so cutting stuff takes much longer than it should. So anyway, Chris didn't really go to sleep last night because he just really wanted to work on stuff, so he only got 2 hours of sleep and was really exhausted all day. And so after dinner he stayed a little bit. We just sat and talked for a bit, spent some time together, and then he went home and immediately fell asleep. So that was around 7 that he probably left. So he's been asleep and is planning to wake up around 4 or 5 a.m., get a little bit of stuff done before work, and then hopefully be able to get a lot of stuff done Thursday night, because tomorrow we need to get completely ready to leave for Maryland. So, woo, because we're driving down there, and so I need to pack tomorrow. I meant to pack today, but I wasn't able to do laundry for several reasons. Not my fault. I wanted to, but I was unable to, and so wasn't able to do laundry, and I wanted to have it done so that I could actually take the stuff that I like the most. Do you guys ever just hoard some of your clothes, your favorite clothes, and not wear them very often because you're like, I want to wear that on like a particular day, like I want to wear that with a particular mood, so like even though I love that, I'm not going to wear that. I do that a lot. I tend to not wear certain things because I'm like, but if something comes up where I just like absolutely have to wear this, I know that it's clean, because otherwise if I wear it, it's likely gonna sit in the dirty clothes for like a month. So yeah, do you guys do that too? I do this often. Anyway, Chris went home to sleep, and I've been listening to a book. So I know I've been talking to you guys a lot about what I've been listening to lately, but I just felt like I hadn't been talking to you guys about what I've been reading, and so I decided to update you guys. And I finished my Mercedes Lackey book, and I really enjoyed it. I figured out what it was a retelling of, so yes, I was happy about that. Like, I got it more towards the end. At the beginning, it's kind of just like, it's a loose retelling, and then the closer it gets to the end, I guess the more accurate it gets, the more it takes on those aspects. So that was really fun. I liked the retelling aspect of it, and I'm excited to move on to book 2. I'm sure it will be very interesting since it's a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and I hope we follow the same characters because I really enjoyed them. A lot of times I find main characters to be really stupid just because they do stupid things, and I'm like, no wonder you're always having a rough time of life because you're kind of an idiot. But I actually liked these main characters. I thought they were wonderful, so I was happy about that. But then when I finished listening to that, I ended up going on, oh, by the way, the Mercedes Lackey book, I don't know how many stars I would give it. Maybe 4 stars. I don't know, I just don't feel like I've been loving any books recently. And even though I really enjoyed this one, I don't know if it's quite 4 stars. It might be like 3.75, which doesn't mean it's bad at all. I really enjoyed it, but I just don't know if it's a 4-star book for me because I kind of hold on to my 4 stars and my 5 stars and cling to them because I really want to enjoy a book so much and like not have any issues with it. And it's not that I have any issues with this book, it's just that I don't know, it's just something didn't quite click. But I did really like it, so I think I'd give it 4 stars. It was definitely a good book that I recommend to people who like fairy tale retellings. Anyway, and just fantasy in general, I thought it was really fun. But moving on from that, I started listening to Snobbery with Violence, which is Edwardian murder mystery book by Marion Chesney, and I really liked it a lot. My experience with Marion Chesney is I've read 2 books by her under her, I don't know if it's her pen name or her normal name, but I read 2 books by her under a pseudonym of MC Beaton, and I didn't really like either of them. I thought they were both kind of like, like I just didn't think the characters were good at all. I thought they were flat and boring and just really, really annoying and stupid and entitled and pretentious and awful and didn't deserve anything nice to them because they were just dumb. I didn't like it, and I just thought the storyline was kind of flat as well. Not a fan of the 2 books that I read. I think I'm going to DNF that series because I just didn't like it that much. But this book I just thought was so fun. It was an Edwardian murder mystery, which was very fun because I've been reading a lot of books set between the years of, the earliest book time period is probably around 1770 all the way up to about 1860, so that like 100-year span going from like the classical era into, I guess, the romantic era if we're going by music, or and even slightly up into impressionistic, but not quite like early impressionistic if we're going by art or whatever as well, but and music too, because like Debussy. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion, but mostly the books I've been reading have either been like Regency novels, so like genuinely that Regency era from I guess I'd say 1800 to like 1820, like that very tight span, or straight up Victorian, like 1840 to 1860, and I've really enjoyed them. I think it's been really fun. It's been what I've been in the mood for, but it's really fun to read an Edwardian mystery because, I mean, I just went on a whole rant to you guys the other day about how I don't like mysteries, but this one is like a lighthearted mystery. I wasn't on the edge of my seat, like, wondering who was gonna die next, even though quite a few people died. I wasn't, like, thinking that the whole time. I was just kind of enjoying the story and the characters and the snarky comments and everything, and just kind of like was along for the ride. And then it got to the end and I was like, I feel really satisfied with that. Like, I'm happy with that, and I like these characters. I'm attached to these characters. I maybe wouldn't want to know these people in real life because they seem like they would be pretty annoying to know, but like I still like them. I'm still attached to them and I still want to find out what happens to them. So anyway, I finished the book and I liked it and I gave it 4 stars. It's just, I don't know, I like the Edwardian time period. I think it's fun to read about like motor cars taking over and how everybody has a telephone and it's like, I'm gonna phone blah 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 and phone Scotland Yard and stuff. It's just, it's very amusing to me. It's like this like Sherlock Holmesy type thing to me whenever they say like phone Scotland Yard, but they actually have phones now and they like utilize them so much, but then they still have horse-drawn carriages, and it's like this weird transition, and they still have to wear corsets, and yeah, it's like right before that 20s era hits where they all break loose and society is still like super strict, and it's really interesting. I'm enjoying reading it and learning of some of the customs of the time because honestly I've never studied the Edwardian period. My yeah, I haven't studied anything Edwardian since I was 9, and I only studied it for like a month, and we studied like American Edwardian stuff, like that time period, but like stuff in America. And so really it's nothing the same at all. And so I really haven't studied this era, and that's my one regret from school, is that I never studied World War I extensively and the turn of the century, because I love the turn of the century so much. I love that time period, but I just never actually studied it. Anything I know about it is pretty much just from my own pleasure, studying and digging about, which is perfectly fine as well, but like I feel I would have learned more in school, and that's like my one regret about school. I think I learned so much in it. Like, I learned about every time period and every culture that you can, well, not that you can imagine. There's plenty that you can imagine that I haven't studied, but I learned about a lot, and I feel like I got a lot of diversity from what I studied, except for not that. And that makes me sad. I mean, I was still really interested in it. I remember when I was like 12 or 13 going up and looking about the influenza epidemic and trying to find out about that, because I was like, what is influenza? Because I had only ever heard of the flu and stuff. So like finding my own things and learning about that and stuff. And I have studied art from the late 1800s, because I love Monet and I love Degas. Those two are in my top. Degas is probably my favorite artist of all time. Monet is like really far up there as well. I love that whole time period and the whole movement that happened with that, and the forerunners in changing art, and they are why like artists like Picasso and stuff happened, which I think is really cool. Even though I'm not a personal fan of Picasso's work, I think they really were able to like inspire stuff like that by changing the way art was viewed, because they were so radical. And yeah, anyway, you guys are probably bored hearing me talk about this. I can talk about art and the Impressionist movement all day, every day, because I love it with a passion, an intense passion. It is my favorite thing ever. Anyway, so like I've studied it loosely, but that was again more like France. I studied late 1800s in France, still not England, and so it's really interesting hearing about like all the women's customs and taking like arsenic to like clear your skin. What is wrong with these people? They're like poisoning themselves, and the lead poisoning from their makeup and all this stuff. These people are idiots. Anyway, it's been interesting. But yeah, point being is I'm enjoying this little fun Edwardian murder mystery series. I'm on the second book and I'm really enjoying it as well. They're just so lighthearted and interesting and just so whimsical, and like I love the humor in these books. Even though I just looked them up on Goodreads and they have really bad ratings on there, so I feel like I'm alone in my liking of these books, but that's fine. That's the point of reading, is to find what works for you, and these are just what I'm in the mood for. They're lighthearted and just so quippy. I enjoy it very much, so I'm excited to expand my mystery reading a bit, and I think the best way for me to get into the mystery genre is by reading things with the title of, what's the one called right now? Hasty Death is the one called right now, but the other book is just, what a lovely title, Snubbery with Violence, and some of the other ones, Our Lady of Pain. They're just, it's fun. You can't deny that it's fun, and I think it's a fun way to approach the mystery genre for me. Anyway, I think that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow as we pack up and get ready to drive for 7 hours. That will be fun. Get pumped for a road trip because it's gonna be awesome. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.